All right, today we're going to talk about one of the most incredible predators that ever walked the planet. And get this, it wasn't a mammal, it wasn't a reptile, it was a bird. We're talking about Forus racos, but you probably know it by its much cooler and frankly terrifyingly accurate nickname, the terror bird.
So that really begs the question, doesn't it? What happens when a bird becomes the apex predator? After the dinosaurs were wiped out, there was this massive power vacuum. And on one continent, a totally new kind of killer stepped up to claim the throne. How in the world did a bird manage to do that?
All right, to really wrap our heads around this incredible creature, we first have to take a trip back in time and see the world it completely dominated.
And just to put this timeline in perspective, we're talking about a massive stretch of time. So long after the dinosaurs vanished, South America was basically its own isolated world. Think of it like this giant, disconnected evolutionary laboratory. And it was in this super unique environment, during what we call the Miocene epoch, that Perusaracos first shows up. And listen, this wasn't some brief moment in the spotlight. We're talking millions of years, where this family of birds, the Forusraciidae, were the absolute, undisputed kings of the continent. They were the lions and tigers of their day, the top of the food chain, period. So what exactly did it take for a bird to become a killer on this scale? Let's dive in and break down its incredible anatomy. Okay, first things first, let's just talk about sheer size. Forus racos was huge. We're talking about 2.5 meters tall. That's over 8 feet. To really get a handle on what that means, let's put it into perspective. I mean, look at that. It would have easily looked down on the average person. Seriously, just imagine running into a bird that literally towers over you. But it wasn't just about being tall. Nope, this creature was engineered for the hunt. It was totally flightless, so all of its evolutionary power went into these long, muscular legs. And even though it was huge, its bones were hollow, which made it surprisingly light on its feet. Agile. And then, of course, there was the weapon. A massive skull, nearly 2 feet long, ending in this wicked, sharp, hooked beak. Basically like a giant eagle's, but way, way scarier. Oh, and did I mention it was fast? Because it was really fast. Scientists figure it could hit speeds of up to 50 kilometers an hour. That's about 30 miles per hour. So this was no slow, lumbering beast. This was a prehistoric sprinter. Which brings up the real question, right? How did it use all that, the size, the speed, the weapons, to become such a killer? And this is where the story gets truly fascinating. See, the terror bird didn't hunt like other predators. It had a signature move. Yeah, this quote from Dr. Stephen Rowe just captures it perfectly. He said they were no bruisers. They were agile, speedy hunters that would have used a series of well-targeted, hatchet-like strikes. So forget about brute force. This was all about precision, deadly efficiency. And that phrase, hatchet-like strike, that is the absolute key to everything. So picture this. The whole hunt was like this carefully choreographed dance of death. First, step 1, the chase. It would use that insane speed to just run down its prey. Step 2, it would act like a boxer, using its agile footwork to keep its distance, bobbing and weaving. Then came step 3, the critical part, the strike. A powerful, vertical, downward blow with that massive beak, just like an axe. And finally, step 4, it would dart back out of harm's way, avoiding any kind of messy struggle. In and out. Clean.
Okay, this whole boxing strategy is an incredible theory, right? But it definitely leads to a pretty big question.
Right? I mean, how can we possibly know how a fossilized animal actually hunted? We've got the bones, sure, but the mechanics of the attack? Well, the answer, it turns out, is found in some seriously clever modern tech. It's a technique called finite element analysis, or FEA. The easiest way to think about it is like a digital crash test, but for fossils. Scientists took CT scans to create this perfect 3D model of the terror bird's skull. Then, on a computer, they could apply all sorts of virtual forces to it, testing its strengths and, just as important, its weaknesses, all without ever touching the real fossil. And what they found was, wow, just remarkable. When they simulated that powerful downward vertical strike, the hatchet motion, the skull was incredibly strong, rock solid. But when they tested side-to-side forces, like you'd see if an animal was shaking its prey, the skull was surprisingly weak. It probably would have risked breaking its own neck if it tried that. And that right there, that's the anatomical proof that just unlocks the whole theory. The terror bird was a specialist. It wasn't built to get into a wrestling match with its food. Its entire skull, its entire hunting strategy was engineered for one thing: delivering a single, precise, and absolutely fatal blow from above.
So when you step back and look at the big picture, what does this all tell us about this incredible creature and its place in the history of life?
I mean, when you put all the pieces together, you're looking at a perfect storm of evolutionary adaptation. You have a bird that stepped into the vacant role of top land predator. It had the perfect build for the job, this crazy combination of height, speed, and agility. And of course, it had its secret weapon, that highly specialized beak, designed for one very specific, very lethal kind of attack.
Really, what we're looking at here is just a masterclass in evolutionary specialization. Every single part of the terror bird, from its long legs all the way to the fine details of its skull, was perfectly tuned for one very specific and very deadly way of life.
And all of that leaves us with one final, pretty fascinating question to chew on. You know, in a world that often favors generalists, the terror bird was the ultimate specialist. And it makes you wonder, in the millions of years still to come, could the forces of evolution ever create a predator so incredibly unique, so hyper-specialized ever again?